Good morning, everyone. This is Lynn Sugiyama speaking on behalf of the Arizona Buddhist Temple. I want to thank all of you for your continued support. Today, we are here to commemorate our loved ones who passed away during this month of June. This is our June Shotsuki Hoyo. I'd like to begin by reading the names of our loved ones. This is in loving memory of Shunichi Aikawa, Yasumi Ariza, Rin Toki Asano, Setsuko Miyamura Borst, Setsuko Nishikawa Gillespie, Fred Hayashi, Tome Hisahara, Susumu Iguchi, Ginger Virginia Ikeda, Tadao Inoshita, Paul Ryoki Ishikawa, Rani Ito, Takiko Kawamura, Toma Kuhara, Genji Kusuhashi, Reverend Ryotai Matsukage, Yoshio Mike Matsumoto, Hisa Mori, Mike Mizukami, Dennis Nakagawa, Isao Nakamura, Daikichi Nishida, Janice Nishioka, Tetsuji Okabe, Albert Sakato, Alexandra Starr, Hiroyuki Raki Sumida, Alan Tang, Juichi Takesue, Wasano Takesue, Masako Takiguchi, Shigeko Takino, Fred Tomooka, Shiku Yamamoto, Misayo Yoshida, and Sen Yoshihara. Please join me in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namandaps. If any name has been left off on the list, please let the temple know. Please call us at 602-278-0036. Next, I will give the Dharma message for this week. Thank you very much. So let's begin by putting our hands together in Gasho. This reading is from the Sambutsuge. It's a sutra that we chant at the temple. The story is about a king who's named Bodhisattva Dharmakara. And he makes this statement to his teacher, Buddha Lokeshvaraja. And Dharmakara Bodhisattva proclaims that he will make these vows, and through these vows, he becomes the Amida Buddha, whom we all revere and entrust ourselves in when we say Namo Amida Butsu. So please listen to this passage. I vow to become a Buddha, equal to you, the great king of Dharma. I vow to bring sentient beings from birth and death to final attainment of emancipation, which is enlightenment. Please join Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Again, thank you for your continued support of the temple. Today is our June Shotsuki Hoyo, and this is where we remember our loved ones who have passed away during this month of June. So in our tradition, we say that our loved ones who are in the Pure Land they have brought us to this service today to listen to the Buddhist teachings together. And today is also Father's Day. So I wish all the fathers, grandfathers, and uncles a very happy Father's Day. So I hope you enjoy your day today for Father's Day. When I reflect upon Father's Day, I remember my own father. And he passed away over 10 years ago now. And it makes me realize how much time has gone by. So when I was born in Pomona, California, and my father at the time was a graduate student at Claremont Graduate School. And so my mother was working as a librarian at the public school. And so I always remember hearing that my mother and father, they kind of struggled financially, but they really enjoyed having this little happy family when I was a baby. And my father, he would work at night as a janitor at one of the local schools. And then on the weekends, he would work as a minister at the Los Angeles Buddhist Temple in Little Tokyo. And so that was how they were able to make ends meet in raising me as a baby. So once he graduated, my father began working at the Southern Alameda Buddhist Temple, and then at the Denver Buddhist Temple. And finally, he was transferred to the Arizona Buddhist Temple, where he retired. And so during that time, he had my two sisters. And so all three of us, we were raised by my parents, who all had a very busy schedule. So when I reflect upon my own family, my wife and I, we had to work hard in order to make a living. And then when we had our daughter, that gave us a lot more responsibility. And so in raising her, both my wife and I, we took turns in raising her, driving her to school, driving her to dance lessons, all these activities that we brought her to. So it just reminded me of how complex the life of a parent is. And so as a father, I wear many hats in my life. And I'm sure that is very true with all fathers and grandfathers out there, in that you wear many hats in order to make a living and in order to raise a family. And so all of us, as we work, we have our own hat as a professional, and then we wear another hat as a father or grandfather or uncle, and then we have this other hat when we come to the temple, where we sit and listen to the Buddhist teachings together. We're listening to the Dharma, the Buddhist teachings. And through the teachings, we pass that on to those whom we love and those whom we teach. So we all have all these dimensions that we have in our lives. So for this Father's Day, I'm also reminded of the historical Shakyamuni Buddha. And the Shakyamuni Buddha, he himself had a son named Rahula. So Rahula, when he was a baby, he didn't get to know his father for very long. For his father, at the time he was known as Prince Siddhartha, he left his kingdom and he left his family in order to seek a deeper spiritual meaning and find the meaning of why humans have to suffer in life. And so Prince Siddhartha eventually becomes the Buddha. So in the sutras that we read, when Rahula was 7 years old, he finally got to meet his father. So this is the first time that he met his father since he was a baby. And by that time, Rahula's father had become the Shakyamuni Buddha. And so he was already known to be this great religious teacher. So when Rahula sat down with his father, one of the first things Rahula asked was for his inheritance, in that he wanted to become the crown prince for his kingdom called Kapilavastu. But the Buddha didn't say anything. Instead, the Buddha offered his son, Rahula, to join his order, to become a monk, and that the Buddha said that he would give his transcendental inheritance to his son Rahula. So this means his transcendental inheritance means that he would give his spiritual inheritance to his son. So Rahula thought about it, and he decided as a young boy to become a monk with his father. And in several of the sutras that we read about the Buddha, there are stories about the lessons he teaches Rahula. And these are important sutras that we read because it pertains to lessons like not having a big ego, not being conceited, and other stories about cultivating the human mind, how to become an enlightened person in the Buddhist teachings. And so Rahula learned much from his father, and he became an adult and became a great disciple of the Buddha. And so when I think about my own father, he taught me a lot growing up about the Buddhist teachings also. And so through his spiritual inheritance, I too have become a mister just like my father. And also through my spiritual inheritance, I try to share that with the members of the Arizona Buddhist Temple and with people like Van Nagden Sensei and Michael Tang Sensei. And so it gives me great hope and great pleasure to be able to pass these Buddhist teachings to everyone through you and through this video. So really appreciate your support in watching us for this temple. So in our Shin Buddhist tradition, we have this phrase called Jishin Kyoninshi. Jishin Kyoninshi. And this means in Japanese that we attain faith by ourselves and then we share our faith with others. So I think this describes the Buddha and his son Rahula, and also the Buddha and his many disciples, in that he learned the Buddhist teachings and attained enlightenment. And then he passed those teachings on to other disciples and to the future generations. And so when I think about our own Buddhist temple, the Arizona Buddhist Temple, Jishin Kyonin-shi also describes all the mothers and fathers who attend this temple. And when we come to the temple, we ourselves are learning the Buddhist teachings to obtain our own faith, and that we spread our faith and the teachings to our future generation, our children. And through the teachings, we attain Shinjin, the entrusting heart and mind to the Amida Buddha. So when I reflect upon my own father, he lived his entire life as Shin Buddhist and teaching the Buddhist tradition of Amida Buddha. And as I said before, his life is an example for me and for my sisters and for my daughter, his granddaughter, and for my nieces and nephews who come to the temple also. So going back to my reading of the Sambutsuge, the Amida Buddha started out as a student being Bodhisattva Dharmakara. And he is taught through his teacher, and Amida Buddha, or Dharmakara Bodhisattva, aspires to be just as great as his teacher. And so, Amida Buddha makes these vows that he wants to save as many sentient beings, as many human beings as he can, so that they attain birth in the Pure Land. And so the Pure Land is this land of peace and bliss, the land of enlightenment. So this is the path that each and every one of us is on also, in order for us to attain our own spiritual peace and happiness. And so we find that also when we read the stories about our founder, Shinran Shonin, in that he received his spiritual inheritance from his great teacher, Master Honen. And so it's through his teacher that that Shinran Shonin found comfort in saying Namo Amida Butsu. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. And through Namo Amida Butsu, that is where Amida Buddha, when we trust in him, he vows to never abandon us and to take us to the Pure Land. So when we take all these things together, we realize that in our lives we have this one life to live. And so we live each day to the fullest, and to live each day in gratitude in finding spiritual guidance in the Amida Buddha. And so for that, we are always grateful in saying Namo Amida Butsu. So I want to thank all of you for listening, and I want to wish again all the fathers and grandfathers and uncles out there a great happy Father's Day. In closing, I'd like to again read from the Sambutsuge, and this is the statement that Dharmakara Bodhisattva makes to his teacher to become the Amida Buddha. So let's put our hands together, Gasho. I vow to become a Buddha, equal to you, the most honored King of the Dharma. I vow to bring all sentient beings from birth and death and to the final attainment of emancipation, which is enlightenment. Please join in Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you again for listening, and please have a great day. Thank you.